In a small town surrounded by serene mountains and rivers, there lived a man named Lucas. Lucas was known for his kindness and dedication to his work, but lately, his life had turned into complete chaos. It all began when he lost the job he loved, a job to which he had dedicated years of his life. The feeling of uselessness and despair consumed his days. Moreover, his health began to fail. Bills piled up, and hope seemed as distant as a star in the night sky. Friends and family tried to help, but Lucas felt himself sinking deeper and deeper. He found himself trapped in a cycle of negative thoughts, unable to find a way out. On a cloudy day, sitting on a bench in the park where he used to walk, Lucas looked at the horizon with a mix of sadness and resignation. He wondered how everything had fallen apart so quickly. The place that once brought him peace was now a constant reminder of his desolation. But little did he know, that moment would be the first step in his transformation. So our story begins with Lucas at rock bottom, looking at an uncertain future, yet about to discover that even on the darkest nights, there is always a glimmer of light. Sitting on that park bench, Lucas felt the weight of the world on his shoulders. Each breath was a painful reminder of his situation. He repeatedly asked himself, "Why me? Where did I go wrong?" Memories of better times flashed before his eyes, almost like scenes from a distant movie. He remembered the days when he woke up full of energy, ready to face the world. Now, all he felt was an immense void and a despair that seemed impossible to overcome. As he watched the leaves falling from the trees, a deep sense of hopelessness enveloped him. The realization that he was at rock bottom became even clearer. He was exhausted, both physically and emotionally. Sleepless nights and aimless days had become his new reality. When Lucas was lost in his thoughts, a figure approached slowly. It was an elderly man with a tranquil appearance, gray hair, and a serene smile. He sat down on the bench next to Lucas without saying a word. After a few moments of silence, he finally spoke. "I see you're going through a tough time," said the old man, with a gentle voice. Surprised by the approach, Lucas simply nodded. The old man continued, "You know, I've been where you are now. I lost everything I had and felt like there was no more hope." Intrigued, Lucas looked up and stared at the stranger. "And what did you do?" he asked, a mix of curiosity and desperation in his voice. The old man smiled and replied, "I found a new path. I learned that sometimes we need to lose everything to discover who we really are and what we are capable of. It was on that journey that I found wisdom and peace." Lucas fell silent, reflecting on the old man's words. "But how did you manage to climb out of the depths?" he asked, wishing more than anything for an answer he could apply to his own life. The old man took out a small book from his pocket and handed it to Lucas. "This book helped me see life in a new way. It's not a guide with ready-made answers, but it contains stories and reflections that can illuminate your path. Read it with an open heart, and perhaps you will find the wisdom you need." With gratitude and a glimmer of hope, Lucas accepted the book. As he flipped through its pages, he realized that each page was filled with profound teachings and stories of overcoming adversity. Those words, simple yet powerful, began to plant seeds of change in his mind. And so, Lucas took the first step on his journey of transformation. He knew it wouldn't be easy, but for the first time in a long time, he felt there was a light at the end of the tunnel. In the weeks that followed, Lucas devoted himself to reading the book every day. Each story, each reflection, seemed to speak directly to his heart. He began to realize that the answers were not in grand immediate changes, but in the small steps he could take each day. One of the first lessons Lucas decided to apply was the practice of gratitude. He bought a journal and every night before bed, he wrote down 3 things he was grateful for that day. At first, it seemed difficult to find anything positive, but over time, he he began to notice the small blessings that had previously gone unnoticed: a stranger's smile, the song of birds in the morning, the fresh breeze in the park. Additionally, Lucas started taking better care of himself. He decided to walk through the park every morning, breathing in the fresh air and allowing himself moments of silence and contemplation. Gradually, these morning walks became a source of peace and clarity, helping him to reorganize his thoughts and find a renewed purpose. He also decided to reconnect with old friends and family members he had lost touch with. These connections brought him joy and support, reminding him that he wasn't alone on his journey. Gradually, Lucas began to feel a lightness in his heart, a sense that he was finally on the right path. At work, even though he was unemployed, Lucas started exploring new possibilities. He took online courses, learned new skills, and allowed himself to dream again. While opportunities didn't immediately appear, he felt he was preparing for something greater, something that resonated with him. And so, day after day, Lucas built a new routine, a new life. Each small step, each little victory, strengthened his determination and hope. He still faced challenges and moments of doubt, but now he had tools and a renewed mindset to confront them. Lucas was far from having solved all his problems, but what really mattered was that he had started. He was walking, one step at a time, towards a more fulfilling and meaningful life. As Lucas continued on his journey, challenges kept arising. Each new day brought its own battles, some small, others enormous. However, something had changed in Lucas. He now faced each obstacle as an opportunity for growth. One of the biggest challenges he faced was when an old company called him for a job interview. Lucas was excited, feeling that all his efforts were finally paying off. He prepared meticulously, reviewing his skills and experiences. However, on the day of the interview, he didn't get the position. He felt devastated, as if all his efforts had been in vain. Instead of letting himself be completely discouraged, Lucas decided to use this experience as a learning opportunity. He remembered a passage from the book that said failure is part of the growth process. He reflected on what he could improve and continued to pursue new opportunities with even more determination. Another significant challenge came when his health took a new turn. After weeks of constant headaches, Lucas was diagnosed with a chronic condition that would require significant lifestyle changes. Initially, the news deeply shook him. He felt fragile and vulnerable again. However, he remembered the self-care practices he had adopted and decided that this would be another battle he would face head-on. He adopted a healthier diet, started practicing meditation, and sought medical and therapeutic support. Each small change made a big difference in his quality of life. Gradually, Lucas began to notice that his health was improving, and with that, his confidence and energy also grew. These challenges, though difficult, strengthened Lucas. He realized that life is a series of ups and downs, and that the important thing is not to avoid the falls, but to learn to rise from each one. The difficulties he faced taught him resilience, self-belief, and how to keep hope alive even in the darkest moments. Lucas was becoming stronger and wiser. He began to see that each obstacle was actually a disguised opportunity. And thus, his journey of transformation continued, driven by determination and faith in a better future. Over time, Lucas began to see the fruits of his hard work and determination. His daily practices of gratitude, self-care, and continuous learning started to transform his life in profound ways. He found a new job that not only provided him with financial stability but also a renewed sense of purpose. Each day at work was an opportunity for growth, and Lucas quickly excelled, earning the respect and admiration of his colleagues. But Lucas's true rebirth occurred within himself. He had learned to cherish life's small joys, to find beauty in simple things, and to nurture a deep sense of inner peace. His relationships strengthened, and he became a source of inspiration to those around him. Friends and family noticed the change in his attitude and, more importantly, in his spirit. Lucas also began to share his story with others, participating in support groups and giving motivational talks. He wanted to help others see that no matter how deep they may be in the pit, there is always a way out. He emphasized that the key lay in small steps, perseverance, and the ability to believe in oneself. One day, while walking through the park where it all began, Lucas encountered the old man who had given him the book. With a sincere smile, he thanked the man for planting that seed of hope in his heart. The old man, his eyes shining with satisfaction, simply replied, "The journey was yours, Lucas. You found the strength that was always within you." Lucas continued his walk, feeling the cool breeze and observing the green leaves around him. He remembered how that park, once a symbol of his despair, now represented his rebirth. He felt at peace, knowing that despite all adversities, he had found a new way to live, more fulfilling and meaningful. And so, Lucas's story teaches us that even in the darkest moments, we can find a light within ourselves. With courage, patience, and the belief that change is possible, we can transform our lives and rise from the ashes, stronger and wiser.